Hey guys, Real Pyro Blue here. A friend of mine recently asked me to do a cover of Enter Sandman by Metallica, one of my favorite songs, but unfortunately, due to memory problems on my camera, I can't do a song over 4 minutes. So I've decided instead to do a nice little tutorial on how to play the entire song. And I'm going to go ahead and split it up into, intro, verse, chorus, solo, outro, and so forth. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the intro. And the first riff of the song starts out like this. So that's how the riff should sound. And the way that goes is you start out with hitting an open E, and then the 7th fret of the A string, so, and then the 5th fret of the D, so, and then what you're going to do is you're going to do 6 on the E and then 5 on the E, so, and then end back on the 7 of the A, so all together. And that you do that initial riff about 12 times until you get into something different. Now over that, after you do it a few times, you listen to the song, but Kirk Hammett does this little fill thing with his wah. What he does is he's playing an E minor chord, but he's only playing the strings from the D to the low, the high E. So that's a, and he adds a wah to it to just give it that nice sound. Or if you want, you can try either some phaser if you don't have a wah, or just use your whammy bar to give it that little. So something along that matter. And then after you do this initial riff 12 times, then it goes into this riff, which is you start the heavy metal guitar. Alright, and what that is you're just doing a palm muted open E string 7 times, and then the 8th note of each measure you slide up to the 7th fret of the A, so. Be sure to do that slide because it sounds really nice. And over that, the electric just plays right at the beginning of it a nice long E power chord. And then after you do that 4 times, then you go into this. And what you're doing there is you do 2 palm mutes of the open E, and then slide up to the 7 of the A, and then down to the 6 of the E, so it's 1, 2 on the E, 7, 6, then 4 more palm mutes of the E, and then land on an F power chord, which is the 1st fret of the E, 3rd fret of the A. Alright, I just want to make a quick correction. When you're doing the riff, I said after you do the 7 to 6, you do 4 more muted open E's. You actually do 3, so it's. Alright, so you do that whole riff 4 times, and right at the end of it, at the beginning of doing that riff, once again the rhythm guitar does a nice little E power chord. right at the end of the 4th time you're doing it, as he's holding that E, he goes, and what he's doing there is it's an E power chord and then 2 A power chords. So, and after that leads you into the next riff, which is almost the same as the one I just showed you, but it's adding just one more note. So it's so as you're doing there is it's 2 open E muted, then slide up to the 7 on the A, so then down to the 6 on the D on the E, then you go to the 5 on the E, so then 2 open E's muted, and once again land on that F. So all together. Alright, so you do that riff 8 times. And the rhythm guitar is doing something here too. He does this. And what that is, it starts out on an E power chord. Then it goes from an A sharp to A, then F to E. So and that's what the rhythm guitar is doing under that. And after you do that riff I showed you earlier, you do that 8 times overall. But on the 8th time, instead of landing on that F, you're going to land on an E, because it's going to lead you into the main riff of the song, which is... And I'll get to showing you that in the next video. But overall, that is the intro to Enter Sandman.